Good afternoon, guys. Today I would like to present to y'all the message that I was originally supposed to give y'all yesterday, which is entitled Death by Temptation. Okay, back in the day there was a movie that came out in the 90s that was titled Death by Temptation, which featured actors such as Kadeem Hardison, Samuel L. Jackson, James Bond III, Bill Nunn, and of course Cynthia Bond, who actually played the Temptress in this movie, right? Now, this movie it portrayed a young black male who had been raised up in church in North Carolina all of his life. And when he grew up later, when he got older, he decided that he wanted to have some life experiences. He wanted to see what life was all about because, he had been in church all his life and he never experienced anything else, right? It's sort of like back in the day when they used to talk about the preacher's daughters. I know they used to talk about that back in my day, and they would say how they would be off the chain, which would be something that wasn't expected of a preacher's daughter, right? And when they finally got out there into the world on their own, with all the temptation that was out there, normally things wouldn't go too good for them because they lacked experience and had not yet perfected their intuition or discernment. So let's just say that they were easy targets for the devil because they were what some today would label as being green or simply still wet behind the ears, okay? So let's get back into his story. So he makes the decision that he's going to go up to New York to spend time with his cousin, who was a little bit more experienced in the world than he was. So he figured he would be okay. All day, though he was nervous, he seemed to be pretty strong in the spirit. So I think he thought it would be okay. He didn't think anything of it. He just wanted to go and have these experiences, because he felt like he was being cheated out of something if he didn't, right? Now, when he finally reached his destination, okay. In the meantime, okay, he got up to New York, right? And it was something eerie had been going on there that most weren't even aware of, right? Because little did they know there was some sort of demonic woman who carried the Jezebel succubus spirit, and she was beautiful and definitely tempting in the eyes of just about every man who entered the local bar, right? But the bottom line is she would entice them, then take them home, have a sexual encounter with them, and then kill them, which was her intention from the very beginning, unbeknownst to them, right? They didn't know any better, because they were in their lustful energy. We all are tempted in some form or another by something because we are human down here. So they didn't know any better, right? They didn't know any better. But who knew that she would also become a part of this young man's worldly experience and challenge, right? And leave him with the big decision of will he be tempted or will he be able to resist temptation? And I'm telling y'all, okay, it's really a good movie. It really shows you something that about temptation for real. Okay, but anyway, that's as far as I'm gonna go with that. But please feel free to look that movie up if you haven't seen it because it's truly a good example of temptation and how it can be almost in a battle with the soul of someone who's trying to focus or a good person or somebody just trying to be on their path or just anybody, right? So once again, that movie is called Death by Temptation. I do believe they spelled it DEF by Temptation, right? Okay, let's start. So let's start once again about talking about the things that may tempt us and yet can actually share one thing in common, right? And I talked about this in the past, things like drugs, alcohol, sex, of course, and even in some cases, the wrong foods, right? All of these things have one thing in common. We all know too much of indulging of any of it, it can lead to death, right? So we want to be careful when we're taking the responsibility of dabbling into any of these type of things, right? And now the funny thing is, this whole thing made me even think about. It brings me to the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Sodom and Gomorrah was known as one of the most sinful and wicked cities in the Bible, and it was said to be destroyed by sulfur and fire. So let's take a moment to talk about Lot's wife, right? And how she waged against what she was told not to do. You know what I'm saying? Before leaving, she was told not to look back, right? Now, she, in her heart of hearts, may have felt like she had her reasons for looking back, but the cost of looking back was her turning into a pillar of salt, right? And you think in that moment, like, goodness, if somebody tell you not to look back and let's just say that you're going to turn into a pillar of salt if you do that, I mean, that's something else. That just shows you how strong the urge of temptation can be. Because you would think, like, oh no, I ain't trying to turn into no pillar of salt. I ain't looking back at nothing. I don't care, right? You would think that way. But she may have had reasons why she felt like she needed to look back. But this is how temptation works. You know what I'm saying? It can be very, very, very strong, So, okay. So, alrighty. And, like I said, I'm not judging her in her case either, because who knows, if it was a pack of donuts back there, I probably would have looked back too. No, y'all know I'm just joking about that. But nevertheless, temptation can lead you astray, and oftentimes in a bad way, right? If you become tempted by the wrong thing, right? Okay, so we're going to throw one more example out there, and then we're going to get going, right? The third example is the movie Three Strikes, right? This guy gets out of jail, right? This character, I can't remember who he played by, I can't remember his name, but I've missed him in the movie industry because I thought he was hilarious. I thought he was funny. He played in a couple of movies that I liked. So the guy gets out of jail, nonetheless, right? And when he gets out of jail, his friend comes and picks him up from jail. That was good of his friend to come pick him up from jail, right? I thought so too at the moment. But then, as he drives down the road, he's happy to be out and everything like that. The friend notices that the police is riding behind him. The friend looks over at him, and well, he didn't look over at him. He just told him like, "Hey, don't look back. Whatever you do, the police behind, the cops behind us. Don't look back. Don't look back." And we know how that is with most of us. You tell somebody to look back, it's like human nature. You gonna turn around and look, even though somebody told you the importance of not looking back, right? But the temptation, there go that temptation again, right? So he like, okay, he wasn't really um, tripping off of it at first, hearing that the police was back there, because he's saying to himself, well, we ain't did nothing wrong. But little did he know his friend had stolen the car to come pick him up in, right? And as an end result, he did turn around and look, and when he did, the chase was on. And when that happened, the friend, they wound up getting pulled over all the way. The friend wound up pulling out his gun and stuff like that. And the one who got out of jail took off running. Now, the whole movie is basically built from him looking back and the police chasing him like that. It really triggers a whole bunch of chaos in his life, right? Throughout the whole movie. That's basically what it's based on. And he spends the whole movie basically trying to prove his innocence, right? That's a good one. That's like, don't be tempted. And also watch y'all circle, y'all. Y'all know I told y'all about that before too, right? Watch y'all circle, because if you my friend, don't come pick me up nothing stolen. I just got out of jail, right? I don't know if I took off running. I probably been scrapping with him, just for doing something that crazy and stupid, jeopardizing me, and I just got out of jail, right? Okay. So anyway, that's why you have to really be leery of some of the things that we can be tempted by. So in those moments, what I'm asking y'all to do is take about 5 minutes before you act sometime, right? And just, hey, take it to God. Tell him, hey, I need strength to resist these things, right? You know how they talk about medicine. You take one dose, if that don't work, you might have to take two. So, you say, hey, God, give me an extra strength to resist these things, right? And sometimes that's just what we have to do. Because most things that are tempting, we all know, it also always gives off the ore that is irresistible, and it's very difficult for us to, not be tempted. So the message is to ask God for that proper guidance and strength, and in some cases, extra strength, right, to not be tempted by the wrong things, right? Okay, and that's all I'm gonna say to y'all. I hope it turned out right, because I still didn't rewrite it and things like that. But I hope it turned out right. Y'all know I be tripping on my words sometime and stuff like that. But it's not because it's not on the paper the right way. It's just sometimes I look at it and for some reason, I'd say a whole different word and it ain't supposed to be on there. But y'all know I'm going to keep pushing through this, I can't be fumbling the ball, I got to pick it up and hold on to it tight, right? So I'm going to try to get that together, and y'all know I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed Sunday, okay? Bye-bye.